It's very early in the morning, about 6:30. We left just at 6 o'clock, and we have set off on our West Country adventure. I hope you enjoy this episode. So we're setting off from Portsmouth. It's a little bit of a northerly breeze, giving us a very low sea state, and at the moment not much breeze, but I'm expecting it to go up a little bit during the day. There's a very high pressure sitting to the west of Ireland, which should allow us to get a long way west, I hope, and then we're going to play it by ear from there. Well, it depends what happens with the high pressure. If it goes high, then we can expect to see a bit more easterly in that, which will make life a little bit harder. If it comes down a bit further south, we'll get the westerlies, which should give us a bit of a train ride back, which would be nice. But we've got 8-9 days. We're going to play it by ear.
Yeah, it'll be good fun.
Because we wanted to pick up the tide from the Needles, we were against the tide as we headed out the Solent, so we climbed into the shallow water, but it was a lovely sail nonetheless.
Well, we set off this morning at about 6. It's going on for 10:30. We're just getting to Yarmouth. It's been much slower than we expected when we set out. We thought it was going to be fairly breezy according to the forecast, but it's been very mellow indeed. So we've been starting to pick up now, and we're just getting to the Needles Channel, which can always cause a little bit of a funneling of the breeze, so we will make sure we're prepared for that, but we'll ideally ride the tide straight out of there and onwards to the west. Well, we've exited the Needles. It was completely benign. It's always best with the Needles to just expect it to be a little bit worse than than anticipated or forecast, but we had perfect conditions really. Gentle breeze, wind with tide, all very lovely. So we've taken that. We're going to take a ride with the tide all the way down to the Fairway Buoy, then we'll harden up very slightly and put a bit more in towards the west. Very lovely boat on just to windward of us.
We're doing a little bit of a voiceover as this section, as the wind noise was a bit too breezy, but we got ourselves round Anvil Point, St Albans Head, and started to cross Weymouth Bay. The wind started to pipe up, and we were looking good for an arrival off Portland around about 5 o'clock, which was exactly the right time for the tide. In the end, we arrived at Portland Bill just about half an hour later than we expected. It's reasonably important. We angled ourselves to meet the bill a little bit on the eastern side, a little bit further north of the bill itself, and then down really close into the lighthouse in order to get what's known as the inner passage. Not too important on a day when the wind is from the north, but it's a very useful shortcut to know about, but needs to be treated with a bit of care. But we got round a little bit stronger tide. It's like it suddenly moves you rapidly sideways, but got round cheerfully and carried on.
Well, we're round Portland Bill, which was good.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. So just after we said we were romping along, the wind died off a little bit, and we were maybe 40 minutes later than I had hoped for. We got right inshore and managed to catch a bit of the tide, but we probably were a bit too far off the line when we actually rounded it. It got swept slightly south. Fortunately, a little bit of breeze came in, and we were able to recover that. Well, we had supper, and we're now heading into the west. Thought that it might be a bit more blowy inside Lyme Bay, and indeed it was. Maybe a couple more knots of breeze. So we banged a reef in order to flatten the boat out while we ate.
I think we're going faster than we were.
We're maybe going a little bit faster than we were. We certainly are now. But everything's pretty steady. There's not much in sight. Sea is flattening out a little bit now.
Spectacular sunset.
Spectacular sunset. The only thing we need to worry about now is arriving where we want to be in the dark, which should be okay, which is not brilliant. We're signing off.
Well, as the night drew in, we settled in for the night. We both managed to get a little bit, but not a huge amount of sleep as we crossed the bay. We took it in little shifts, 2 reefs in the main, and we romped along. It was very pleasant indeed, and I thought what I might do is just show you here a few snippets of our trip as it unfolded. Well, we're alongside in Dartmouth, and it's a particularly lovely Sunday morning.
Yeah.
We arrived, what sort of time was it? It was 2:30?
It was, we came alongside round about 2:45.
2:45. So we were at Portland Bill round about 5:30. Really fast passage across Lyme Bay, faster than I expected. It went a bit light, and then we put a reef in order to have supper, and then pretty quickly afterward that we put another one in. And as we came across, it got a little bit windier, and the wind went.
It went from the north to the east.
We went to the north to the east, so we were rolling quite heavily. So I did what I normally did in these circumstances, was I just I lowered the main and let the headsail do all the work. It took about half a knot off the overall speed, but it made the helming an awful lot easier. And then as we got round Berry Head, there was another increase in the speed, but we tucked into Dartmouth and arrived alongside here, and we just need to make sure we know how we're going to stay.
Yeah, I have to say, really beautiful. This place never ceases to amaze me.
Well, that was our first long trip.
I'd highly recommend it.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
The only thing that went wrong on this trip was the loss of yet another GoPro door. Oh dear.